It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Matt Murphy, like the man told you, and this is the Matt Murphy Show, episode 838. What is going on? Hello, how are you? Hope you're well. Many of you getting off work, sliding into that hot vehicle, getting it cranked up, getting that AC going. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a great day, and hope we can make the drive home a little more pleasant with the mellifluous sounds of Matt Murphy and company. Company in the form of Jackson Williams behind the glass, making sure that everything that comes out of our speakers sounds as good as possible. Jay Harper. Hello. Sorry.
What's up?
My bad. I should allow you to respond when I say that. Jay Harper's behind the glass, and he is doing double duty today, news and traffic, in the absence of Ken Weaver, who is just fine, by the way. But speaking of AC, Ken Weaver had his AC go out, and so he had to deal with that, and he will be back tomorrow. Speaking of being back, well, look who's back. I would have told Jackson to get the Welcome Back Cotter song on, but it was such a disaster on Monday. We're going to give him a couple of weeks to recover. But look who is back in the saddle today. It is none other than our weekly friend. He's not even a guest. He's family. It's Cameron Smith.
And the crowd goes wild.
Woohoo.
Woohoo. I was getting people that were, Jason in particular was like, oh, yeah, right. Like, you're not back yet. What are you doing? Come on.
Oh yeah, you know,
timing's everything.
You know what they say. You know what the old saying is, Jackson?
Better late than never?
Yeah, that saying's wrong. Sometimes never's better.
It's okay, Jackson.
I'm so mean. Have you met Jackson?
I have met Jackson.
He's just a bundle of fun, a bundle of joy. Thank you, Jackson, for giving us the little welcome back song. Welcome back, Cameron. Where you been?
I've been in Alaska, man. Just a wild frontier. The land of the midnight sun.
Yeah, is that what they say?
Yes. And oddly, I had one of the weirdest things I had while there was from 49th State Brewing. I had spruce soda.
Okay.
And it was good.
What is spruce soda? Is it made from a spruce tree?
No idea. It's green. It is named after the spruce tree, but ultimately it's think like a fizzy Gatorade, fizzy lemon lime Gatorade, or like
non-alcoholic.
Non-alcoholic.
Okay.
And it's...
I would dig this. I like lemon lime Gatorade. The original, the OG.
It was like a non-chemically tasting Mountain Dew. I mean, kind of either way. But like it was neat. It was pretty cool.
You bring some of that back for your buddy?
I'm actually working on that right now, trying to get back some of this stuff because we went fishing for halibut and salmon, and I got that today. It showed up from FedEx. Sent it.
Wait, so you fish it and then you clean? Do you clean it?
Yeah.
You fish it, clean it, they pack it, they ship it.
Yeah, per pound. By far the most expensive fish I've ever eaten.
I'm certain.
Really excited. But the boys, we went on a fishing trip. We caught our limit of halibut and rockfish and some salmon. And they wanted be like, Dad, we ate it, but we didn't really have anywhere to put it right there. Mm-hmm. So
you could have just gone at it raw.
Yeah,
I suppose. I am certain that of the 5, I would be willing to bet 3 of the 5 you could have convinced to take a bite of raw fish.
Yeah, the captain on the boat had to be like, guys, that fish is a spiny rockfish, and those fins are poisonous.
Might not want to grab that one.
Don't do that. And they were like, are you for real?
What was the craziest thing you saw?
I still can't get over a moose. I mean,
you saw a moose up close and in person?
Yes.
I've
probably
never had
yards.
The pleasure. I hear they're big.
I've seen pictures, and I've heard that. Nothing prepares you for the real deal. And a big bull moose.
Like it's still bigger than you think it's going to be.
I'm like, whoa. That is a lot. Denali was amazing seeing bears in the wild.
We call that McKinley now, buddy.
I've heard the
Gulf of America.
The mountain has been changed to McKinley. The park, I believe, is still Denali.
Well, for the time being, we'll figure that out.
And the people there, particularly the hippies, are like,
it's Denali, man.
The natives call it Denali, so we need to. I'm like, I don't care what you call it. It's pretty cool. It's very big. And we got to see Denali, which it's 20,000 foot. It's a giant mountain, but a lot of times it has clouds around it and stuff. We actually got to see it, and it was amazing.
I'm very jealous of you, and I want to go. I was looking. Hold on. John, what's his name? John. I can never remember this guy's name. I've got his book now. I've told you the story about the guy that just went into the wilderness. He retired as a machinist at the age of 51. And John Perkepney, something like that. Anyway, he kept detailed journals. He went to Alaska. He bought a piece of land. He stayed at a buddy's cabin. And over the summer, staying at a buddy's cabin, he would row down the river. And on his piece of property, he built his cabin. Everything he built by hand. He literally brought like a shovel and an axe and a saw. And that was it. And everything else he built by hand. And he lived there for like 30 plus years. And you can still go visit his cabin. So
you mentioned that to me. And so I'm on the lookout, right?
Right.
And they have rednecks in Alaska, just so you know.
Oh, I bet.
Now, they call them homesteaders. And these are basically people that do exactly what you just said. And when I took the train from Anchorage to Denali, it's an 8-hour train ride. And off to the side, we're seeing these, like, what I can clearly identify as redneck houses. Like, it's like we got some plywood there, some rain buckets, some tarp. Like, it's pretty creative looking. Now, some of them look pretty cool. But most of them, I'm like, that's a redneck house. Mm-hmm. These were people that are like, I've had enough. Moving to Alaska, living in the wilderness.
This guy, I mean, I'm fascinated. I don't think I could do it because I think the isolation would get to me eventually, but he loved it. And he would document it with an 8mm camera. He would write in his journal every day. I mean, but when you're talking about wilderness living, you're talking about during the wintertime, he would have to re-shovel the path every day to the river and then re-auger the hole in the river because it would freeze up during the night, and he would have to auger it I think it was 3 feet in total, and like half of it would freeze up, and he would have to re-auger it every day just to get water.
They have a saying that the summer is the illusion and winter is reality in Alaska. Summer is glorious. It was so nice. We went along the coast, and then we went into the interior, and it was amazing. But they said, oh, yeah, by the way, for like 9 months of the year, it's 30 below and dark. So, you know, summer is great.
There's that.
But the living here, the rest of the year part, it's a challenge.
His name is Dick Pronecke, Pronenneke, and his cabin is on Twin Lakes. And it's fascinating. I've got the book of the tools that he used that have been documented to live his life out there for the 30 plus years that he was out there. It's a fascinating study in a guy that decides, you know what? I just want to check out. And he did.
This is like a libertarian's paradise because it's literally like the Ron Swanson license. Like, right. I got a license. What does it say? I can do what I want.
Yeah, I do.
In Alaska, they're like, yeah, we don't have anybody here to like monitor this, but we need you to not die. And that's their sort of attitude. They're like, well, it's public land. Okay, fine. We need you to not die.
Well, and that's the thing is that, I mean, it's the ultimate. I mean, you call it the libertarian's paradise, but it truly is because you have all the freedom that you want, every bit of the freedom, but you also have every bit of the responsibility.
It could kill you.
Right. I mean, if something goes wrong,
you're up the tree,
the possibility
literally
exists that you're just going to die from that something. I mean, whether it's an infection or a spider bite or whatever.
So we learned some of the history about, folks with the gold rush and stuff. And we were on the Chilkoot Trail, and they said this trail, the part we were on, it's 33 miles long. And you would have to carry your provisions for a year to prove that you could survive. So you'd have to do like 100 trips that are 33 miles to prove before the, I guess, Park Service or whoever would let you go explore because you're otherwise just going to die.
You're just going to die, and we just don't want you to die.
Right.
Yeah, 0336 says Alaska has 4 seasons. Early winter, midwinter, late winter, and next winter.
Well, what was funny for me, and obviously I'm a son of the South, so I'm used to like heat and humidity. First, cold and humidity, totally unsettling. But the rainforest along the North Pacific coast is bizarre. It's 50 degrees and it's really humid. So that threw me off. The sunlight threw me off. But also the fact, when we were in Fairbanks in the Chaina River, they said, well, the river freezes solid and we use it like a runway and a road until somebody falls in, and then we don't use it anymore because it turns back into a river.
That's smart.
And I was like, that's That's an interesting way of testing that.
And yes, I'm aware a lot of you are noting on the super text line. The first thing that my awareness of Dick Pernecki was from the PBS documentary about him that was on, I don't know, several years ago. He was 53, lived there for over 30 years, eventually moved back to be with his family and died soon after. But it is an incredible thing. He was a machine. I think he was in the military, and then he became a machinist. He worked in a machine shop, so he understood how to work with his hands. And off to Alaska.
I took the train through Wasilla, and you can't see Russia from there. I checked.
So
Sarah Palin.
So Palin was a big fat liar.
Yes,
you can see Russia from my house.
I checked; it wasn't there. And also,
maybe the leaves were off the trees when she.
They said she's our most famous politician, and she no longer lives here. And I'm like,
and that is the end of that story.
Thank you. And we're moving on.
Hey, Mark, I want to get to you because you've been patient enough, and I appreciate your call. It is on a separate topic, not on the Alaska conversation, but you wanted to talk about Medicare/Medicaid. Mark, you're on.
Yes, how y'all doing?
Mark, I'm fabulous. I hope
Great.
you are.
I just want to know, the Medicare and Medicaid is not run 100% by the government. It is run by privately owned insurance companies. So I've been trying to get these people, and I'm going to have to say their name because they don't want to drop me. I've had leukemia for 18 years, been going to Vanderbilt. And so WellCare took me in on my prescription. Now they have took me over as my primary, and they don't want to drop me. I called Medicare, and I said, hey, I worked 54 years to get this. Now, WellCare is a privately owned insurance company that gets paid. So they pay my bill, then they turn around and double bill Medicare. And that's not right. The government needs to cut all them private insurance companies out and hire more government workers.
Let me talk to you about this, Mark, because.
But can I say one thing?
Well,
can I say one last thing, and then you can say whatever. They've been calling me and saying, Mr. Musgrove, we can find you a provider just as good as the one you've been going to for 18 years. I don't want to change. I want to stay with the Vanderbilt. I've been going there for 18 years. I don't need somebody, privately owned insurance company, telling me where I can go, and you'll find me a doctor just as good as the one I've been going and seeing for 18 years.
No, I understand that you want to keep your same physician in the same locations that you've been going to. WellCare is a subsidiary. WellCare is a privately owned company, but they're a managed care service.
Right.
They are not a part of Medicare. They're not a part of Medicaid. But what they do is they manage your Medicaid and your Medicare for you. And yeah, you're right. They do that for people who can't manage it or don't manage it for themselves for the purpose of making money. They charge you a premium on top of whatever Medicaid or Medicare would charge, or they take a cut out of that. I don't know exactly how the business model works. At some point, I would assume, Mark, I mean, I don't want to assume anything, but I would think at some point you had to agree for WellCare to take over the management of your Medicare.
No, they started out as a prescription because I was on a $300 a day pill, and they come in taking that. I don't know how. I did not agree for them to manage my. No, I don't need no management. I had.
Well, you may not have. I mean, Mark, I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to assume things that I ought not to. Is it possible that you didn't know that that's what you were agreeing to, but that's what happened?
Okay, we're going to say that I agreed to it now, since they won't pay Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt said, and Medicare said, call them up and cancel and go straight back. They don't want to let me go. They want to keep me as a victim. They want me to change hospitals and change doctors. They saying they don't want to lose me. I feel like a victim now.
Right.
I feel like a customer.
Well, I don't believe that I have the answer for you, but I bet you that there is someone listening right now, Mark, that might have an answer. There has to be a way for you to get out of this and just get back. I mean, what you're trying to do is just get back to Medicare, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I worked 54 years and paid in.
I don't know that I have the specific answer, but if there's an attorney that deals with these types of things, or if there's someone listening right now, please call us to help Mark out. Mark, are you listening right now?
Yes, sir. I listen every day to y'all.
Please keep listening, because however this happened, you're trying to get out from under the thumb, and this happened to my grandfather, and I just remember that we were in the midst of the biggest pain in our butts on planet Earth trying to pull it back. I tell you what I might do. I don't know if he might have an answer for you or not, but Mark, my man Shane Ring over at Cover Nash, you hear me talking about him?
Yeah.
Maybe you got a pen or a piece of paper over there?
Yes, sir.
All right, write this number down and tell Shane I told you to call. And if he doesn't know, maybe he can find somebody that does. It's 465-0023.
465
0023.
0023. Yeah, because I called Medicare, and Medicare said, all you got to do is call them, and they'll drop it, and we'll pick you back up. And August the 1st, we'll start taking over. But WellCare don't want to let go because, I'm a victim now. I'm not a customer. I'm not a client. I wanted y'all to take me off your program, and they don't want to do it.
Well, if anybody
called me in the last.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I've got to get to a commercial break. But here's what I would say: keep listening, get that number, and call Shane. And I don't know if just tell Shane that you talked to me on the phone, and I recommended you call him. Now he might just have some advice for you. He might not know which direction to take, but I understand that this is not just a problem for you, Mark. It's a problem for a lot of people that they don't realize. My grandfather did this, and thank you, Mark, for the call. My grandfather's the smartest man I ever knew. And he did not realize that he was signing up for a subsidized insurance where the managed care takes over and they make so many of the decisions and they decide what is charged. And you just lose a lot of the control.
Right.
And then when you call Medicare, you know what Medicare tells you? We can't talk to you. You have
can't
to start with
switch
them.
back and forth.
Right. You can't switch back to them. So we'll try to figure out something for you. 25 after the hour. Quick timeout. Back in a moment on Super Talk. I mean, it's right around the corner because Matt Murphy is perpetually late. Perpetually late. I got a clock right in front of me, and I'm perpetually late. I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 places where the time is within my reach, and I can't stay on time. How about that? Any quick 30-second advice for our caller there that's concerned about, he's concerned about these third-party supplementals.
So managed care organizations for certain folks can be easier depending on their treatment challenges, but we've run into the same deal with our family and the elderly folks in our family where the third-party providers, they may get you access in certain areas because they're not the traditional plan, but then there's pitfalls and other challenges. Right. So make sure you know what you're doing.
Well, and I just remember it, and the caller brought up these memories to me that my grandfather at one point, a couple of years before he passed away, he had become convinced that Medicare had dropped him because Medicare would route him back to his managed service provider that he had agreed to, and he did not realize that he had agreed to what he had agreed to. So yeah, I mean, it's frustrating, and we'll try to get you some answers as best we can. 31 after the hour, it's time for the news. When we return, we'll talk about Jeffrey Epstein. We'll talk about the big, beautiful bill, get Cameron's take on that, all to come, plus a wasted bacon update. You asked for it, and you're getting it on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super Talk 99.7 WTN, a number of your suggestions for our man Mark, I believe it was. I don't know if this is the case, but several have mentioned it, that you should be able to call 1-800-MEDICARE, Mark. I mean, several people have said this. Call 1-800-MEDICARE, get a person on the phone, which is probably going to be more difficult than I'm making it out to be, and tell them that you want to drop your Advantage plan and go back to straight up Medicare. It sounds like that's what you've got, and they'll re-enroll you in regular Medicare, which will drop you from the rolls of WellCare. That's 1-800-MEDICARE. A number of people have suggested that. So that's what I can tell you right now. Should be able to switch back just by making the call. Let's see, anybody else? Medicare Advantage programs are a scam. I'm getting a lot of those. Yeah, so that's that. We've got a couple of folks that want to talk about it. By the way, have we established it? Jay's out on Nincompoops. We got 3, though.
Would you like to do?
We got a 3. I mean, he doesn't have. He's got a lot going on back there. We got 3 already.
I can do it.
You want in?
Yeah,
Okay.
Man.
Well, in that case, Thomas, hang in. Donna, you hang in. Tim, you hang in. Because we promise to do this at the same time on a daily basis at 41 minutes after the hour. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you know what the news is. It's time to find the Nincompoops.
Nincompoops in the news.
And so, subbing in for Ken Weaver, there's Jay Harper behind the 2 panes of glass. Behind the 1 pane of glass, there is Jackson Williams. Right here in studio with me is Cameron Smith. He participates on these Wednesdays, and I'm yours truly, Matt Murphy. All of us with Nincompoop stories. We tell them, and you vote at 615-737-9986. Jay, you might not know this, but we changed the rules slightly in as much as the winner of the previous Nincompoops in the news gets to go first.
Yeah, okay.
And as a result, it is your honor, unless you want to defer to others while you gather your thoughts on the Nincompoops, because Ken Weaver won yesterday.
Okay.
I'll give you the honor if you'd like it.
I can dive in here, but as I've said before, whenever I kind of do this, fill-in work, I'm not familiar with what may have been done before, so
we'll give you the grace. We'll give you the grace.
Because
they don't give it to me; they just make fun of me.
Yeah, well, that happened to me too. So. But anyway,
we'll give you the grace unless it's a repeat, and then we'll ridicule you.
All right, yeah, that's fair enough. Let's see. This is a man who tried. This is overseas now. A man who tried to rob a Glasgow store while armed with a cucumber. It came out of his pants when he was tackled to the ground by an off-duty police officer. Gary Ruff, he brandished the vegetable. He had it covered in a black sock.
I bet he did.
Yeah, and he pointed it at a woman who worked at the store, demanded cash. She refused. Well, when they tackled the guy, they discovered it's a cucumber. He initially told police, "Hey, I'm just kidding." And am I going to jail for this? Yeah, he's in the pokey now. For 2 years.
Pokey?
Yeah.
Wonder
in the pokey with
let him keep the cucumber.
With the cucumber, right.
You don't want to be in the pokey with a cucumber.
No.
You're not in a good situation if the situation that you're in involves brandishing
a cucumber.
The cucumber.
Don't be that guy.
Covered in a black sock.
Especially if it's cold outside.
Sounds like a wild Saturday night.
Yeah, boy.
I love it. All right, I'm going next because, I'm the host. What? Don't give me that look.
Oh, come on.
I just want to jump in front of this because already Cameron Smith tried to steal my story, but I got him off of it. Key West, Florida.
Oh, no.
Florida man.
Key West police say, you better rush for another one. Key West police say a man told police officers, quote, "Today is my birthday," after being told he was under arrest for stealing a conch tour train on the 4th of July. Was that your story, by the way?
Yes.
I figured. It's just so good. According to an arrest report, July 4th was indeed Jonathan Patrick Winslow's birthday, his 57th, as a matter of fact. He is currently facing 3 criminal charges after being accused of taking one of the famous conch tour trains on a meth-fueled joyride. Police went to the conch tour train depot at 1802 Staples Avenue just before 11:30 in the morning Friday after receiving a report that the train had been stolen and was being GPS tracked around downtown. The arrest report states that Winslow of Big Torch Key left his Kia behind at the depot, still running, with rock and roll music playing on the radio. He just left his car running. Police say an employee told police officers that he had come to the depot, claimed he used to work for the company years ago, asked for a tour of the train. They said he then got into one of the vehicles and drove off, leaving the employee confused, thinking that Winslow may have had permission to take it. He did not have permission to take it. Another employee was able to retrieve the stolen conch train. Authorities say that Winslow had even picked up 2 random passengers while driving the vehicle. He was just taking everybody around on a joyride. They found Winslow at the southernmost point buoy. Everybody that's been to Key West has been to the southernmost point buoy, right? Police say he, quote, exhibited rapid speech, appeared excited, and when told he was facing charges, claimed that he merely borrowed the trolley and said that he used to work for the company, and then said, as if this settled everything, today is my birthday. While being searched at the corrections office, a pipe was found in which he said it was a weed pipe. It was not, in fact, a weed pipe. It was a meth pipe. He faces numerous charges. There you go. Jackson?
All right, found this one on the fly. We have a case of the worst hitman ever in Australia. Man crawls out of grave before CCTV shows him in a gas station, with a bullet in his head. A man climbed out of his own grave from when he was shot in the head and later walked to a service station. The Australian man had been targeted by a contract crew of hitmen who are also believed to be responsible for 2 other deadly attacks within a week. CCTV footage shows the would-be murder victim, 23, covered in the dirt from his own grave, walking into a service station at a south of Brisbane service station on July 21st of last year. He arrived at the service station with a bullet lodged in his brain, but begged the staff not to call emergency services. They did take him to the hospital against his wishes.
Against his wishes.
Yes.
Nice. Got to get him all tidied up. Mr. Smith, your entry, sir.
So I was going to do the Australia poisonous mushroom trial, but it's actually interesting and not a nincompoop per se. Because there's always a Florida man, even a different one. This is the Marion County Sheriff's Office. They've gotten this whole interaction on video on July 8th around 4:20 a.m. Mm-hmm. Deputy Mingus spotted Jacob Daniel Caldwell.
Deputy Mingus.
Walking down Highway 19 and stopped to check on him. Because, you see a guy on the highway, you stop to check. Instead of a calm conversation, the deputy was met with a flare gun being fired directly at his patrol car. Oh, no. Caldwell continued with odd behavior by removing his pants and throwing money at Deputy Mingus and refusing to comply. Deputy Mingus deployed his taser twice, but Caldwell continued to pull out the probes. Eventually, he was taken into custody.
Yeah.
It did not go well, but he was transported to the Gold Star Hotel. Which
what to the Gold? What
Gold?
I see
the Gold Star Hotel.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yes,
the old Gray Bar Hotel.
Yes,
the old gray lady, the joint.
Yeah. First, the guy's checking on you, and you're like, I'm going to shoot you with a flare gun. I'm
going to have to shoot you with a flare gun now. And I'm like, hey, I just want to make sure everything, boom.
Yes. And after that, my instinct would be, well, now I'm in trouble. I better run. Instead, I'm going to take my pants off and I'm going to throw some money at you.
There we go. By the way, everybody's dinging me for mispronouncing conch.
Oh, maybe I have a shot.
Conch.
Mine was so awful, but I have a chance.
Is it conch?
Conch.
Be careful.
All right. I mean, whatever. If y'all want to pronounce things incorrectly, it's C-O-N-C-H. I speak American, and in America, we pronounce C-H.
Were you one of the freedom prize people?
If they wanted it to be pronounced conch, it would be spelled C-O-N-K. Okay? Now, if you foreigners want to challenge me on that, that's fine. But we speak American. And in America,
that's right,
we call it conch.
Exactly, Matt Murphy.
That's right. Dang foreigners.
Mate. Thank you very much. That's how we play Nincompoops in the News. You get to vote. Vote Jay, vote Jackson, vote Cameron, or vote correctly. 615-737-9986. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. All right, we're going to tackle some of the hard stuff right here in just a second on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. By the way, by my tally, big winner for Nincompoops in the news today. It stays in the news closet. Jay Harper on delivery. I mean, several people said on delivery alone, but man, when you have a big cucumber and a black sock, I mean, I guess hard to beat.
Yes, that's right. I must admit.
So congratulations to Jay Harper, but the controversy of the day surrounds my pronunciation of the word conch. And many of you, including Cameron Smith, you're telling me that I'm saying it wrong.
Correct.
The proper pronunciation is
conch.
Conch. And so I did what any, curmudgeonly ne'er-do-well would do. I did not believe any of you, and I went to the Oxford English Language Dictionary. And this is what, so for all of you saying that I'm pronouncing it incorrectly and it ought to be conch, let's see what Oxford says. Y'all ready?
Conch. Conch.
To which the intrepid Cameron Smith looked it up on the internet and said the preferred American English pronunciation is conch. The Brits say conch.
Yes. That is the Oxford Dictionary, after all. So that would be Brits. But
That ain't Mississippi, buddy.
Hey, I'm gonna pull a page out of Dan Mandis's playbook when I say, y'all know what I have to say to that?
Conch. Conch.
That sounds gross.
Conch.
Okay, Redcoat, you're doing great.
How dare you, sir? How dare you? You know what? When I read Lord of the Flies, Piggy didn't have the conch. He had the conch. Piggy's got the conch. Piggy's got the conch. You ever see the movie?
Yeah,
Lord of the Flies?
probably a British director.
Conch.
Conch.
Okay, Oxford.
I'm just, look, that's all look, when you write a dictionary and put it out, you can pronounce it any
William
way you want to.
Shakespeare would say
Conch.
conch.
That's exactly right.
Probably.
And if William Shakespeare, Cameron Smith, William Shakespeare.
And if you want to win a revolution, you say conch.
As in conch on the head? As in,
Like what we did to the British?
We did do that. Bunch of rednecks.
Just saying.
So you're saying that the suggestion is exactly the opposite of my argument that I made a few minutes ago?
Yes, it is. Happens.
But the guy you're playing, he sounds American, though.
Conch.
He doesn't sound conch.
No, that's exactly right.
He's not saying conch.
Look, for all of you, it's conch, it's conch, it's conch, it's conch.
Conch.
That's all I can tell you. Let's get to more serious matters. Thomas has perhaps a note of suggestion for our man Mark. Hey, Thomas, how are you?
Well, I'm doing pretty good. I can explain Medicare to you. However, you don't have enough time. So I can give you a
Well, that's no fun.
simplified explanation. I am a physician in Middle Tennessee. I started dealing with Medicare in 1978 when I started doing insurance claims in my father's office. I have dealt with him since that time. The simple explanation, things that people do not understand that I see every day in my office. Medicare is administered by CMS, Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, which is a federal agency. And being a federal agency is very important from the standpoint of your rights to deal with them, which are very limited with agencies, just like they are with the IRS. Standard Medicare is an 80-20 plan. Medicare, CMS, sets the charges that any physician or hospital has to bill them. It's not determined by the physician. It's not determined by the hospital. It is determined by CMS. And it is different for every hospital. And that is mandated by their regulations. What Medicare pays a physician is mandated by CMS. The amount that a physician gets paid is calculated based on where you live in the country and the size of the city you are in. If you're in a large city, you get paid more. If you're in a rural area, you get paid less. No one seems to understand this.
All right, so Thomas, I want to if you have Thomas, if you have the ability, can you hold for just a second?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because I don't want to interrupt you, but you were right. It's a complex enough issue that we are at the news time, and I want to get to the news with Jay Harper per our promise, top and the bottom of the every hour, and then we'll get back to Thomas. We'll get to Tim as well, and I want to kind of relate this. I mean, I understand it's, I guess, an important conversation. I understand what Medicare is and how they bill, but how does that translate to third parties and what Mark's issue was? Maybe Thomas has a pivot to that in just a moment. It's 1 minute after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.